So x plus y is 4. Y is 2x plus 1. So we can have x plus y equals 4. And then minus 2x plus y equals 1.
How did they say to solve it?
By substitution. All right, so that means that we can sub in the y value for the first equation. So x plus, then 2x plus 1 equals 4. 3x plus 1 is 4. X is 1 here. So we need to find the y value now. So x plus y is 4. 1 plus y is 4. So y is 3.
That's it. Y equals 4, y equals 3. And for more complicated versions of this, the one that already has y equals is often the easier of the two to find y, because it's already y equals. This one was, fairly simple. Yeah, if they say solve it by substitution, they're not going to penalize you for solving it any other way, I believe, but it's designed to be done by substitution, so it's easier to use substitution.
Okay.
So these are what the two graphs look like, and they cross over when x is 1 and y is 3. Coordinate y3. Okay, try this.
Okay. So y is x squared plus x. 2x plus y is 4. 2x plus x squared plus x equals equals 4. So x squared plus 3x minus 4 equals 0. And you can factorize this, so you have 2 minus. Okay, x plus 4, x minus 1 here. Yeah, that works in the brackets. So x is either 1 or x is minus 4. So for each value of x, we could kind of sub it in. So y equals 1 squared plus 1, which is just 2, or y equals minus 4 squared plus 4. Minus 4 times minus 4 is 16. 16 plus 4 is 20. Y is 2 or 20.
X was minus 4.
Yeah. Oh, minus 4 to the thing. Okay. So that would be 12 for y.
Yeah. It was 12. And if these two, if you graphed these two, at what coordinates would they cross over?
1 and 1 comma 2 and minus 4 comma 12.
Would they cross over at 1, 12?
Yeah, because if they're going to pass through 1, 2 and minus 4, 12, they're going to cross at that point. Yeah, so 1, 12.
No. What I was illustrating is when x is 1, y is 2, or when x is minus 4, y is 12, but they don't work the other way. So it's just to make sure that you pair them at the end. So when x equals 1, y equals 2, so you pair those up. When x equals minus 4, y equals 12, and you pair those up. But 1 doesn't match up with 12 because y equals 1 squared plus 1. You can't get 12 from that. It's just 2.
Okay.
And I just want to see if they have a graph. Yeah, and so the graph on the next page. And which coordinate is which?
A is minus 4 comma 12.
Mm-hmm.
B is 1 comma 2.
Yeah, and you can see that they definitely don't cross over at 1, 12. That's why you can't mix or match the two coordinates. Like the x with the y. The x and the y have to pair up, otherwise they'd cross over here and here as well, but they obviously don't.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. Okay, how would you solve these two?
I'll just write down what you said. So you say to never mix the
So this bit explains it there.
Okay. I'll copy that down. So the solution must always be given as a pair of values. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. How would you do this one?
This one doesn't specify to use the substitution method, so I can kind of do it how I.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So 2x plus y is 8. 5x is 21. 4x plus 2y is 16. 5x plus 2y is 21. We minus these two, so we have minus x equals minus 5. X equals 5 here.
Mm-hmm.
So 2, and then in a bracket 5, plus y equals 8. 10 plus y is 8. Y is 8 minus 10, so y is just minus 2.
That's it, minus 2. And here there's only one x and only one y, so you don't need to specify that they're a pair. It's just a given. 5 minus 2, fine. How about this one?
Okay, so 2x plus 3y is minus 1, 3x minus 2 is 18. We multiply both equations by 3 and 2 kind of respectively. So we can have 6x plus 9y is minus 3. 6x minus 4y is 36 here. Minus 3, put times 2. So we have to add these. No, we have to minus these two. So 13y equals minus 3 minus 36 is minus 39. 13y is minus 39. Y is just 3, minus 3 here. So 2x plus 3 times minus 3 is minus 1. 2x minus 9 is minus 1. 2x equals 8. X is 4.
That's it. 4, 3. Sorry, 4 minus 3, yeah.
Yeah.
How would you do part 1?
Oh. So we can say the apples are A, the pears are P, and so that's fine. So 5A plus 4P equals 2.20. 4 pears and 2 apples. So 2A plus 6P is also 2.20. Solve it to find the cost of each fruit. Okay. So.
And I think you'd be okay for the rest of that. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yeah, that was just checking that part of it. 5A plus 4P. So they wrote it as 220. You can do it that way and then just remember that because you multiplied it by 100, you have to divide your answer by 100. I prefer your way because, it keeps it the way it is.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this one.
The total area of the flag in terms of X and Y. Okay, so I'll draw that flag quickly. Okay. Two X plus Y in one bracket, and then in the next bracket we could have 4X plus Y.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Write down the total area of the flag in terms of X and Y. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, part 2.
So part 1 is there. Part 2. The area of the cross is 6xy plus y squared. 2x plus y, 4x plus y, minus, and then I'll keep this in a big bracket, so minus, and outside the bracket we can have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 outside of the bracket, and then 2x squared inside the bracket, because that's the area of each white rectangle.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 8x squared plus 6xy plus y squared minus 8x squared. That's the area of the cross. This means we're left with 6xy plus y squared. Yeah.
Okay. And next one.
Okay. Total area is. Okay, so. Two x plus y, 4x plus y equals 4,500. 6xy plus y squared is area of the is 1,300. I might so we could say that 8x squared plus 6xy plus y squared, so 8x squared plus 6xy plus y squared is 4,500. 6xy plus y squared is 1,300. So 8x squared, if we minus these two, it's 3,200. X squared is 3,200 divided by 8, and that will give us 4, 8, 32. That would be 400. X squared is 400. Then x is just the root of 400, which is 20, I believe. So
yeah. 20 gives you 20 squared gives you 400. Okay.
Yeah. X is 20. So we want to find y now. We could say that 8. No, I think I might do so 6 times 20 times y plus y squared is 1,300. 120y plus y squared is 1,300. We could have y outside a bracket and then have 120 plus y inside.
What type of equation do you have?
We have a quadratic here, don't we? So you could have y squared plus 120y minus 1,300 is 0. I might use the quadratic formula to solve this, just because it's a bit long. So minus 120 plus or minus root of 120 squared minus 4 times 1 times minus 1,300 over 2 times 1. We have y here that equals 10, or y equals minus 130.
Okay, so we have two answers.
Yeah.
Why did we only have one answer for x?
I think it's because x is kind of a linear graph if it was to be plot as a graph, but because we have a quadratic for the y value here, for the y squared plus 120y minus 1,300, it would be like a parabola, so it would have two values where it crosses.
Okay, and so is this flag a parabola?
No, it's not.
And so what does that tell you?
We can't have a minus length, that's for sure.
Correct.
So it must be y equals 10 here.
That's it. So y must be 10 and x must be?
X must be 20 because that's our only value, I think.
That's it. And actually, if it was a parabola, there would be two x values. What else squared gives you 400?
Minus 20 squared. Right, okay.
Yeah, so I wasn't sure if you kind of knew, well, it's a length, so I won't say the minus. But yeah, in general, if it can be minus, if it's squared, then there's two possibilities.
Okay.
Unless it's 0. Let's see. So this is the substitution type. I think you're good there. This type, I think you're fine. This is the quadratic type, but that's just kind of pure quadratics. If you like, so I think you're going to be okay for 1. I think you're going to be okay there. Is there any of these you want to try?
Did we try 4, 5, and 6, or?
Okay. Yeah.
Part 4 then. So what is this? These are simultaneous. So 2x minus y plus 3 is 0. Y squared minus 5x is 20. 20. 2x minus y equals minus 3, we can say. Y squared minus 5x is 20 here. We could... I might reorder this. So for the top equation, I might say that y minus 2x is 3. And then y squared minus 5x is 20, just to make it a bit clearer. We can multiply the top equation by 5, multiply the bottom one by 2.
No. So then you would have 5y, and so you'd have 10x and 10x squared.
Oh, minus 5x squared, right? I didn't see that squared there. Okay. Is 20. So why don't we just root the whole second equation? So y minus 5x is root 20. Does that work? Or?
No. Whenever you have something involving, like simultaneous equations involving quadratics, you'll always have to use substitution.
Oh, right. Okay. So we can say for the top one, y equals 2x plus 3. Then we have the y squared minus 5x squared equals 20. Squared is 20. So we just sub in the y value. So 2x plus 3, 2x plus 3. Minus 5x squared gives us 20. So 4x squared plus 12x plus 9 minus 5x squared is 20. Minus x squared plus 12x plus 9 is 20. Minus x plus 12x minus 11 equals 0. X squared, sorry, not x here. So that would be x squared minus 12x plus 11 is 0. We can solve this. I'll do it. X minus 1, x minus 11 here, yeah? So then we have x is 1 or x is 11. For the y value, let's assume x is 1. So y equal, so we can say that y equals 2x plus 3. Y equals 2x plus 3. So then it will be 2 times 1 plus 3. So then we have 5. So our first set of coordinates is 1, 5. Then we assume y is x is 11. So y is 2 times 11 plus 3, 22, 23, 24, 25. So then we'd have the next, so y equals 25, so the coordinates would be 11, 25.
That's it. Any questions there?
No, that's fine.
Let's see. So that was. Okay. So if you want, we can do 5 next.
Yep.
Okay.
X is 2y, x squared minus y. I'll just shut my curtains quickly. Okay, x squared minus y squared plus xy is 20. So x is 2y here. So 2y in a bracket squared minus y squared plus 2y squared is 20. 4y squared minus y squared plus 2y squared is 20. 5y squared is 20. Y squared is 4. Then y is 2. Y is plus or minus 2.
Well done.
Yeah. So x is 2y. X is 2y. Let's assume x is let's assume y is minus 2 to begin with. So x is 2 times minus 2, which is minus 4. And our first set of coordinates would be minus 2 comma minus 4. X is equal to 2y, which is 2 times 2, which is 4. Last set of coordinates would be 2, 4, both positive values here.
Which comes first, x or y?
X comes first. Also, it would be, sorry, minus 4, 2, and 4, 2. Minus 4, minus 2, then 4, 2.
Yeah, that's it. And I don't see the last question being any harder, to be honest.
Okay.
We can do it if you want. It's up to you, but I don't think it's any harder.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do it.
Okay, then maybe I'll do it later, it's fine.
Okay, it's just they just want you multiplying minuses, you know. This is the creating the equations, which I think you're okay for. All right, let's try this one.
A and B, so that's where they cross basically.
Mm-hmm.
X squared plus y squared is 25. X plus y is 7. So this would be a substitution method here. Y is minus x plus 7. So x squared plus minus x plus 7 squared is 25. X squared plus x squared minus 14x plus 49 is 25. 2x squared minus 14x plus 24 is 0. We can divide this all by 2. X squared minus 7x plus 12 is 0. So then we have in brackets x over 3 and 4. So x minus 3, x minus 4 here. So we can say that x is 3 or x is 4. To find y is minus x plus 7. Y equals minus 3 plus 7. Y could be 4 here. So our first set of coordinates would be 3, 4. 3, 4. The next set would be 4, 3. If you do it like minus 4 plus 7.
4, 3. Which one is A? Which one is B?
You can say that A is 3, 4. B is 4, 3.
That's it. Any questions there?
No, that's fine.
So this is more like what an exam question looks like, and you got it. So
cool.
Next is factor theorem, which we did previously. Do you remember how it works? This type of question.
It is.
The example down the bottom.
Okay, should I try and do that question there? Yeah.
Or just, if you want, you can just tell me how you go about it.
Okay, so for the f of minus 2, you sub in minus 2 for all the x values there. So minus 2 cubed plus 2 times minus 2 squared, minus, and then in a bracket, minus 2. Then you have minus 2.
And let's say the f of 1 is equal to 0. What does that tell you?
That means that if you basically sub in 1 for all of those x values, and you get an answer that equals to 0. So 1 cubed plus, so 1 plus 2 minus 1 minus 2. Yeah, that equals to 0. Yeah.
So what does that tell you?
That the f of I'm not too sure what that would mean, to be honest.
So I think it's just missing one piece of information because I'm kind of skipping ahead. The f of 1 is equal to 0. What if I told you, if I asked you to solve 0 equals x cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 2?
That means the f of 1 equals x cubed plus 2x squared minus x minus 2.
Yeah, and how could you use that to solve for x?
Do you sub in those 1 values for x?
Or, okay, so what is one solution?
One solution would be 1 plus 2, which is 3, minus 1, 2, that gives us 0 there.
So that tells us that one solution is x equals 1.
Okay.
So one solution that for this long function, for it to make 0, one solution is when x is 1.
Yeah.
Can you use that? Would you know how to use that to factorize this expression?
You'd have 3 brackets.
Any idea what one bracket is?
Would it be x? So if x is 1, would it be x minus 1 for one of the brackets?
Correct. So it tells us, so x equals 1 is what's called a root, okay. a solution when it's equal to 0. So x minus 1 is a factor because it's, when you factorize it, it's one of the 3 factors in this case. So x minus 1 is a factor. And yes. Okay, let's move on. Okay, how could you do this example down the bottom?
F of x is, okay. x plus 1 is a factor of x. Okay. Basically, they want to find x to be equal to -1 here.
Show that x. Okay, so how would you show that x plus 1 is a factor, or that x equals -1?
X is -1. We'd have the f of -1.
Correct. And what answer do you expect to get?
We would get here 0, I think.
Yeah, you should. And so if you sub in -1, and because they told us that it's going to be a factor, then I already know it's 0. I mean, I don't know it, but they told me it is.
Yeah.
So you could put into your calculator to check, and you just need to say afterwards, therefore, for every show that question, you just copy and paste the bit after show that. Therefore, x plus 1 is a factor of the f of x. The f of x. Suggest other factors.
The f of x. Right, suggest some other factors.
Or how could you find other factors?
If we have x plus 1 as a bracket, and then we'd have x squared.
And what would be the number at the end?
-3.
So let's say plus bx and then -3, and we'd have to figure out what b is. Any idea how you do that?
Yes. I can't remember. Sorry.
So one way you could do it is by expanding both brackets fully and then kind of comparing it to this.
Okay.
The quicker way would be, well, I know that x times x squared will give me x cubed, and that kind of has nothing to do with it. I know that 1 times -3 will be -3, and that has nothing to do with it because this is bx. So let's take this 3x squared. When we expand this bracket fully, what will give us an x squared term?
The x times the bx.
And any other?
Also the 1 times the x squared.
And so what will you get when you expand those two?
Bx squared plus x squared.
Bx squared plus x squared. And we know that from this up here that will have to give us 3x squared.
Sure.
And so can you use that to figure out what b is?
B is 2 here.
Yeah, and so in this case b is 2.
Yeah.
And so instead of bx, you can write x squared plus 2x minus 3.
Sure. Okay.
Fully factorize.
I'll just write that working out you did earlier. So bx squared plus x squared has to be equal to 3x squared. So b is 2 here. So x squared plus 2x minus 3 is 0. X plus 1, it would be x minus 1 and x plus, x minus 1, x plus 3.
Part 3, solve the equation. F of x equals 0.
Yeah. So x is equal to plus or minus 1, or x equals minus 3.
That's it. Do you remember how to make a table of values with your calculator?
No.
Mode.
Okay. Mode and then 3 for table.
What would you do here?
The f of x. Oh yeah, we're given the f of x here. So the f of x is x.
You see the red X over the right bracket?
Yes, I see that. Yeah.
How
Do you
can
press
you?
alpha and get that? Yeah.
Yeah,
X.
alpha
X
is
squared. Yeah. X squared plus 3.
not squared.
3 x cubed. Sorry.
Yeah.
X cubed plus 3x squared plus no, minus x minus 3. Start
It's usually good to start at let's say minus 10 and go to plus 10.
okay.
You can usually do 20 values and a plus 10, and in steps of 1 is fine. What are the special values if you keep pressing down?
Would it be 3 and 0?
So when x is minus 3, the f of x is 0. Was minus
Sorry?
was minus 3 one of
I
our
didn't catch.
was minus 3 one of our solutions?
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we could work backwards from that and say x plus 3 is a factor. Okay, what would you check next?
Minus 1. Minus 1 and 0.
Yeah, so minus 1, that's one of our solutions.
Yeah.
And 1 is a solution. And so, you know, the way we could try different values, like sub in 1, sub in 2, sub in minus 1, minus 2. Doing a table of values does them all in one go.
Sure.
And it might be quicker, and it kind of finds that way. Any questions there?
So is the table value like used to check your answers? Is that what it?
Well, you can kind of use it to get your answers. So this one, it made sense to not use it beforehand. Let me just see. Is this the one we just did? Yes. Okay, let's do this one. Any way you like.
Okay. F of x. F of, basically we want the f of minus 1 here. The f of minus 1 should be equal to, so minus 1.
And so for the method mark, you have to actually sub in the minus 1 like you've just started doing.
Okay, so minus 1 cubed minus, and then I'll put them in brackets so it's a bit easier to see. Minus 1 squared minus 3 times minus 1 minus 1.
What answer should you get?
We should get 0 here.
And I'm sure you will. Is that full marks?
Therefore, x plus 1 is a factor of f of x.
Yeah. Okay, what's next?
Of the f of x.
Part 2.
Yeah. Factorize the f of x. Okay. So we know x plus 1 is a solution, so x plus 1 in one bracket, and then we have x squared. We know our last value would be minus 1, and plus bx in the middle.
Let's use the table of values now.
Okay.
So if we press AC, I think you can probably just edit this a little bit, what you already have.
Right, yeah. Okay, so then you'd have what was it? X. Do we want for the x cubed for the top? Yeah, okay, so x cubed minus x squared minus 3x minus 1.
Mm-hmm.
We'll start at minus 10, end at 10.
Mm-hmm.
Steps of 1. We get a table of values here. We want to find the plus 1 value. So that would be 12. So plus 1, you get x. You'd have x plus 4 as one of the brackets, I think.
Is it?
Go to the 12th one, I think. 12th.
I see a 0 at minus 1.
Right, we want the 0 things. Okay, so for 0 for x, you get minus 1 for the f of x.
So part 3, solve f of x equals 0.
Okay.
So where is the f of x 0?
F of x is 0 when x is minus 1.
Okay, we didn't get lucky. Okay, let's do this bx method.
Okay. We know the x squared values will be x times bx and the 1 times x squared.
Mm-hmm.
We know it must equal to x squared. Bx squared plus x squared is always equal to x squared.
Mm-hmm.
Is b then minus 1?
Is minus 1x squared plus x squared equal to x squared?
Looks like b would be 0, but I don't...
Yeah, b is 0.
Okay. B is... Okay, fine. So then... Would that just mean there's no x squared value? Oh no, it would just be x squared in this middle, so... Sorry, so it would just have x in the center, so it would be x plus 1, x squared plus x.
That means plus 1x.
Is there nothing there then?
Yeah.
Is there no bx value? Okay. X squared minus 1.
Can you fully factorize that?
Yeah. X plus 1. And we know that is a difference of 2 squared here. So difference of 2 squared. So we have x plus 1, and x minus 1.
Mm-hmm.
So x is either plus or minus 1.
Yes. And that can be x plus 1 squared and x minus 1. And then you can solve that and say x equals minus 1 or x equals 1, which baffles me because when I looked up x equals 1, I didn't get... Did I put this in correctly? X cubed minus x squared minus 3x minus 1. So we're getting 2 answers, but my calculator only gave me 1. Let me take a look at this. X squared, they got minus 2x. How did they get minus 2x? We must have gone wrong somewhere. Let me just put this here. So when we factorize out x plus 1, the other one is x squared plus bx minus 1.
Yeah.
To get an... yes. It's because it's not identical to x squared, it's identical to minus x squared.
Right, okay.
So what is b?
You get to minus x squared. Would it be minus 2 here?
Yeah, b is minus 2.
Sure, okay. This is minus, so we have minus 2 for b. Then we have x plus 1, x squared minus 2x minus 1.
And the reason why I didn't find a solution is because this second bracket doesn't factorize. You have to use the formula or complete in the square.
Okay.
I think you'll be okay for it.
So do you just leave it as that? X?
Well, when it comes time to solve it, then one solution is x minus 1, and then the other one is x squared minus 2x minus 1 equals 0, and you have to solve that. It won't factorize, so you have to either use the formula or complete in the square.
Okay. So if I left that as my final answer for the factorizing, that would be fine. The x plus 1 and the x squared minus 2x minus 1.
For part 2, that's the final answer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to see. These are these factor. Yes. I want to do one of this type, if possible. How would you do this?
Obviously. F of x is x cubed plus 2x squared plus ax minus 6. So x minus 4 is a factor of x. Okay. So we have x is 4, x equals 4.
Mm-hmm.
So we sub in the f of 4 equals 4 cubed plus 2 times 4 squared plus 4a minus 76. So 4 cubed is 64.
And so I believe it's calculator.
Okay.
So mode comp to go out of that.
All right. How do you? Yeah, mode and then okay. Yeah.
And so I just put it all in one go.
Yeah.
There we go. And I just, exactly as I wrote it, I've put it there with the brackets and everything. And so the calculator will recognize it as multiplying.
Okay. Right.
So try that.
Yeah, sure. So I think that's better because the calculator is the most accurate. So 4x squared plus 2 times 4 squared. So we have 4a plus 20 here, right?
Yeah.
So then the f of 4 is 4a plus 20.
How do we solve a?
It says x minus 4 is a factor.
And so what do you know about the f of 4?
The f of 4 is also equal to 0.
Correct. And so 4a plus 20?
Okay, so the x minus 4 is a factor. So that means that the f of 4 must be 0. Fine. So that means that 4a plus 20 is 0, because the f of 4 is 0. 4a is minus 20, so a is just minus 5.
That's it. A equals minus 5. Any questions there?
Oh, that's good. I got that.
So the trick is you sub in 4 and then you make your answer equal to 0 because it's a factor. There's one type of thing I want to get to, not that one. this one, question 5. Yeah. Okay. How about this
one? Okay, so the f of x.
Skip part 1, just part 2.
Okay. P and Q. We know that those x minus 1 and x plus 3 are factors, so the f of x is x minus 1, then x plus 3. Then you could have so it would be x minus 2 as a last bracket.
Okay. So you did part 1 anyway, even though I told you not to. But anyway, well, that's all right. Okay, part 2.
No, sorry, I thought that was a part of trying to find.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So if we know that P is a coefficient of the x squared, so if we expand this, we can find the x squared value, and then right, so x cubed
I would recommend you just do 2 brackets at once. Yeah, that's one. You could just fully expand this and then get the x squared and the x. What would you expect to get if you subbed in the f of 1?
We got the f of 1. We'd get. We know x minus 1 is a factor, so that should equal 0.
Okay, so if you sub in 1, you get 1 plus p plus q plus 6, and because it's equal to 0. What's the other thing you could sub in?
The f of 1, or you could also sub in the f of minus 3.
So the f of minus 3, and for that one I'd probably use the calculator. So minus 3 cubed. So that's just minus 27 minus plus 9p minus 3x plus 6 equals 0. Could you simplify the first one? 1 plus p cubed plus 6 equals 0.
So the f of 1 plus p plus q plus 6 is 0. P plus q is minus 7. And then we get for the next. Okay, so we have a simultaneous equation here. So
correct.
Right. So then we have the f of minus 3 is minus 27 plus 9p minus
3q.
Minus 3q plus 6 is 0. 9p minus 3q is
the 21?
19. I think it's 19.
Oh, 19.
Because 27. Oh no, it's 21. Sorry, yeah.
Okay. And then it's simultaneous equations.
Yes.
Minus 3q equals 21. 1p plus q equals minus 7. And any way you like, you can solve it. That will find p and q. The other way is to expand these 3 brackets and get the number in front of the x squared and the number in front of the x.
Yeah.
So 2 different ways of doing it, and that's why this matches up with simultaneous equations.
Okay.
Yeah, how did you find that, Stefan?
That was good. It was a more difficult topic, but towards the end and like doing more questions, I really understood it and like understood how the two topics kind of are linked in the way that you get a simultaneous equation. You have to solve that from the thing there.
So the next topic is inequalities, linear inequalities, and then probably quadratic inequalities. How does that sound?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, and maybe we might practice like one question on factor theorem at the start. It's just because the rest of them are just quadratics, whereas that one was a simultaneous equation. That's the one I want to look at.
Okay.
Linear inequalities. Any questions for me?